Folks, welcome on into the Crossing Swords podcast live at Sports City Pizza Pub, where every day is game day, and today is especially a game day because your Buffalo Sabres are about to play Game 4 of the second round of the NHL playoffs, down 2-1 against the Montreal Canadiens. But before we talk about this series, got to talk about this great crew I'm with. To my right, your left, Mike_Bunt. Sabres down 2-1. But how are you feeling just, as we get into this thing right now?
I am feeling like I'm on life support right now, and I'll have a better idea of how I'm feeling in about 4.5 hours. Then we'll know if it's a good night or if I feel like all is done with the Sabre season.
Well, you know what they say, look good, feel good, play good. That's my guy to my left, Don Dreamboat on the ones and twos. Sir.
Yes, sir.
We are 3 games into the series. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling collected, focused, calm, but alert. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm not down in the dumps, but I'm not riding high. I'm neutral. If I'm in the locker room right now, that's how I am. I'm just laser focused right now at what needs to be done, but not squeezing too tight because I know that can cause problems.
Exactly. Sabres got to take care of the job tonight, just like Jameson on the saddle right now, making sure we're looking good. Shout out to Rachel as well from the Hunter Buffalo team. Gentlemen, there was a lot of talk today after the Sabres Game 3 loss in Montreal, where it feels like, if you look outside right now, the sky is falling in Western New York with how the Sabres have played. They're only down 2-1 right now, but it felt like Lindy Ruff kind of hit the glass in case of emergency with some big moves they have practiced in terms of the lineup. First one we'll talk about, Alex Lyon out in net, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen back in for the Sabres. Bunty, what are your initial takeaways from seeing number one back in the crease for Buffalo?
I'm excited to see what UPL can do, but this is really just a move of the Sabres have failed Alex Lyon the last 2 games, and you're just hoping that maybe changing the goalie will give the lineup a little bit of a spark. Lyon was left to dry. Any goalie in that situation would have failed pretty miserably. So hopefully UPL can give them a little bit of a boost, but it's not really a case of you think that UPL is much better than Lyon. It's more so when the team lets you down, you're just hoping for some change.
Literally. And Don, you were talking on Trainwreck today of just, is this a possibility that the Sabres move towards Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? I think you're all on the same page of we didn't think it was going to happen. Were you shocked to see this move done today?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised, but then I kind of thought through what it is. And it's not only, hey, let's change up the goalie, give a guy a spark. I think with the way the last 2 games are going, even the toughest goalie is going out. He lets in an early one that the team hangs him out. Is it, oh, no, here we go again type of thought. So I feel like, too, you just had to throw someone new out there. Again, like Bunt said, why we lost those games was not Alex Lyon's fault, but something had to give. He had more lineup changes beyond that. I was surprised with UPL, but I still he played well, got us a win in the first series. So we're riding with him.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the first time people are really watching the Sabres is in this postseason run, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was a huge reason the Sabres are where they're at now. He had his best season, I would say, this year. Of course, there were ups, there were downs. That's kind of the nature of being a goaltender in the NHL. But after that Game 2, it felt like we were never going to see him in the crease again based on how Alex Lyon was playing. It is, I would say, a big shock to me that Lindy Ruff moved towards Alex Lyon, especially with if the Sabres looking for a spark to their lineup, which they desperately needed. You put in a 19-year-old rookie into the lineup, that's going to be a spark. They go with Shen on the back end, which we'll talk about. But to put in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, I'm interested to see, because when they switched to Alex Lyon in round 1, the Sabres played night and day different. They were a totally different team in that Boston, when they're at Boston coming back. So I'm hoping, and you expect from Lindy Ruff, that this is going to be another jolt to the Sabres team.
I mean, that's what your hope is if you're Lindy Ruff, is that happens. I really wasn't overly surprised to see UPL get the chance. Like, if you would have told me Sunday night after that performance, UPL starting Game 4, I would have told you it makes sense. Not because of anything Lyon did, but just because that's kind of how Lindy is as a coach. You gave him 2 shots, 2 bad games, and you take him out. But when UPL and Colton Ellis were skating yesterday when there was no practice, that's when I would have been like, okay, Alex Lyon is definitely starting on Tuesday. So it was a little shocking to see UPL get the opportunity today after that. But if initial reaction wouldn't have been as surprised after Sunday night.
Well, especially that practice, too. I think Pearson also wasn't skating. Hellenus was skating. So we're kind of giving a lot of smoke signals on what this lineup could be. And then we get to pregame skate today, and it's a totally new lineup. Don, is this how big of a panic button press is this by Lindy Ruff to make this goalie change right now? Or do you think not at all based on the season?
It's a pretty significant move. And again, I'm going to point back to like Alex Lyon's actual play in the last game. I mean, I'm watching the first period before they score that last goal. I'm like, oh man, we might escape this period 1-0. Like, and you think about how many shots point blank from the top of or from the hash mark, inside the hash marks that we were giving up defensively. And it seemed like he was a brick wall. He was dialed in. He couldn't let it go in. They get that first late. And even still, like, you look at a lot of their other goals, no chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a pretty significant move for Lindy tonight, really to be like, listen, we need to rally around a guy. And it worked last series, and maybe it'll work again this series. We're going to talk about the other guys later, but honestly, I was a little more shocked with those guys than the UPL of it all. And I was shocked about UPL, though. So.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a good question from our friend Jake in the chat of, is what the lineup we saw in pregame skate, is this what the Sabres are toting out, or do you think there's any smoke to this and there's going to be some tweaks once we get to puck drop?
I'm trusting that is the lineup. I don't know why you would be playing games at this point with your lineup right before a pivotal contest that's going to decide really if your season is still alive or not. There's definitely a lot of changes. There's a lot of things that could bring up question marks about why are they doing this, why are they doing that. I tend to believe that what we saw this morning is what we're going to see tonight.
Yeah. A couple comments too in the chat. Please comment them along. Tell us how you're feeling about the Sabres game tonight. Shen balances his team with confidence, experience, and Hellenus brings a youthful enthusiasm. They aren't going to waste this shot. We're going for it. And then Eric, slug jersey for good luck. Dig it.
Slug jersey is undefeated in the playoffs this year.
Well, we need between that and the Lucky Nuts, we're pulling out all the stops right now.
Yes.
And then Andy, UPL, better be a man with something to prove tonight. I think that's going to be what we're going to see from the Sabres with the guys you brought in as well. Next guy in this new lineup, Consta Hellenus, the 19-year-old rookie who was
20.
Oh, is he 20?
20. I believe he just turned 20 today or yesterday, one of those days. So.
Today was Benson's birthday.
I think Hellenus
so
might have been
yesterday.
Yeah, it might have been yesterday.
Freshly 20-year-old now. And
no beers for you.
Still no beers. But he brings something to this lineup that we saw when he got brought up to Buffalo was early in the season. He had a great week with that kids line where he felt like, he's never going to eat a garbage plate again in his life because he's going to be a mainstay in Buffalo. The production fell off a little bit after those few good games. The one in Nashville specifically, I remember. What is a Consta Hellenus, ideally going to bring this lineup, Bunty? And then at the end of the day, what do you think the impact of this kid is going to be?
Ideally, he brings in speed. He gives you a boost, more energy, and more offensive production. What will he bring? That's your guess is as good as anybody's. We really don't know. And the one thing I think fans need to be a little bit cautious with their expectations. You're talking about a guy that just turned 20 years old, who's played 9 career NHL games. He only recorded points in 2 of those games. He had 4 points in 9 games, 1 3-point game, I think, against Nashville, where he went off, and then he was relatively quiet.
Yeah.
He didn't have a point his last 6 games with the Sabres. He was averaging over 11.54 of ice time a game. In Rochester, he was a point-per-game guy, but was a minus 14. And I know plus-minus isn't everything, but we killed Dylan Cousins over the years for that exact same type of stuff, and that's in the NHL, not the American Hockey League. And if anything, we should realize that minor league stats do not translate to the NHL right away. Jack Quinn was a guy that in his first full season in the minors had 61 points in 45 games. And we're still waiting on Jack Quinn to be a guy with the Buffalo Sabres. Definitely. And so Can Hellenis provide a boost? Yes. Is it possible he can be good? Yes. But it took Noah Ostlund basically a good amount of time this year to really get to that level where we think he's a very good player. And I think a lot of people are throwing that on Hellenis going into his first playoff game in the toughest environment he will ever face. Now, I hope he comes out. He plays a great game and helps the team, energize the team. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he comes out, plays 10 minutes, and is a -1 and gets a shot on goal.
Yeah, I mean, Don, the big thing, too, is they put him on that third line and moved McLeod down to the fourth. Like, what is this going to be a constant hell in this game?
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. Depending on your source, you have Paul Hamilton listing that him between Zucker and Quinn on the second line as practicing. So I've seen two conflicting things where one, he was on the third. Another, Paul reported that first line Krebs, Thompson, Tuck, second line Zucker, Hellenis, Quinn. So if that's true, and Lindy is really like pushing all the chips into the table on this kid, because not only is he expecting him to basically CPR, give like this line back to life that has been completely dead, but he's also counting on them to match up against a line that has Newhook, who has 4 goals in 2 games.
Crazy.
And is red hot right now, is a greater Sabres killer than Cole Caulfield. So, and again, we don't know that. There's conflicting reports. I just saw Paul's earlier today, and I brought it up to be sure that he had him listed as second. But I think he brings a lot of speed. I think he brings a great shot we've seen. And if there's anything we need more, it's shots. And maybe the game plan is, hey, like, we want you to get your heart out, but Zucker can grind it down low. Quinn's a good playmaker. Maybe they're going to be trying to feed him for just some outside shots and let Zucker muscle it up front if this line stays. But like Bunt said, that's a lot of pressure for a young kid. It's interesting, man. When I heard, I was kind of shocked because I know all fans wanted him, but it's rare that what the fans want happens. I hear that he's practicing and with the top 4, and then I thought, he was going to be centering Malenstein and Greenway. Lo and behold, he's bouncing between the second and third. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, that's why this is interesting, though, because the fans have been clamoring for him to take over for Norris or Zucker. And you couldn't take Norris out of the lineup because he's been part of the only good line on the Sabres the last 2 games. Zucker hasn't even gotten ice time recently, so who knows what's up with that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're replacing McLeod, I mean, the McLeod-Quinn-Zucker line has been a huge part of the Sabres' success this year. It just
the longest tenured line.
Yeah, it's been a great line all season. It goes to show that line has not been good in quite some time. And then what it really shows is they don't believe that they can put Hellenis in the fourth line, that they need him in a middle 6 role to protect him, because if you put him with lesser players, maybe that doesn't suit his game. But the fact that McLeod might now be on the fourth line is essentially saying we need more speed. We need more talent distributed throughout the lineup.
Yeah.
And that the way it was getting done wasn't good enough. And with Carrick, is Carrick hurt now because of what the punch, or is this Carrick just being a healthy scratch? And if Carrick's a healthy scratch, we've been talking about him for the last how many weeks? Oh, we need his presence back in the lineup. And then literally 1 game into the playoffs for him, he gets bent.
Well,
so
Carrick didn't look as strong either as we've seen him. But you're right. I think the interesting thing is if you think about McLeod, Ruff's kind of, and he said like Lindy's biggest thing he's been telling me is shoot the puck more. So it is interesting they get a guy in with a hard shot that I am wondering if he's like, you know what, we're not going to get more shots in this line. We'll bring in someone that he's young but hungry and going to fire it, and bring more speed to the fourth. So crazy enough that it just might work. We'll see.
I mean, the more I've been thinking about these lines that we saw from practice today, the more it's growing on me. Basically, you guys are saying, because it wouldn't make sense to try to spark the Sabres team with a 10-minute night from Constant Hellenis. If you're really trying to spark this team, add them to a line that, when they were at their best, were the Sabres' best line for a good chunk of the season. That line has been together for so long, have been so consistent. And, at this biggest moment, they're not there. They need to find a way to spark it. I think at this point, what do you have to lose? Because it's not like that line's producing anyways. So you might as well, throw some shit at the wall, see what sticks for them. and then adding McLeod to the fourth line. When the Sabres were at their best this year, gentlemen, that fourth line was producing for Buffalo. Granted, they had Zach Benson there for, when it was at its best with Carrick and Malenstein. But being able to get this fourth line to score, you look back to game one, having Jordan Greenway put that dagger into Montreal in the beginning of the third period, put the Sabres in a place to win that game, semi-comfortably, which, if they can get a goal from the fourth line, that makes all this worth it for Buffalo. A couple comments here, too. Habs fan here. Love you, Sabres fans. Good luck tonight, and I low-key hope Buffalo wins it. Unfortunately, my two favorite teams had to meet. I mean, unfortunate for that to be the two favorite teams. And
I've met a couple people like that.
Yeah.
Like at game one, there was a guy, he was wearing a green Sabres hat,
Yes.
but it had the – and a couple people are like, I love them both. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird. Like, they've always been in the same division.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the comment.
we appreciate it. And, there's been a lot of people hopping on the bandwagon this season, which has been great. Last lineup thing we saw today, because there's been a ton of changes defensively. We thought there could be a change for Lindy Ruff and this Buffalo Sabres team with that third pairing. But they added in Luke Schenn to the third pairing alongside Connor Timmins. Bunty, I'll kick it to you first. What was your first takeaway when you saw, one, they made a change defensively, and two, was for a guy like Luke Schenn over Zach Metzer or Michael Kesselring?
Number one takeaway is they finally did get fed up with Logan Stanley, because this was definitely not something that they wanted to do.
Yes.
And then number two takeaway is that the top four is going to play like half this. Like each of those pairs is going to play like half the game. You're not going to see a ton of Schenn on the ice, in my opinion. This is going to be Dahlin, Samuelson, Byram, and Power playing 25 minutes each in this game. And
higher low than 6 minutes for Schenn.
It's probably going to be a little bit higher, but what you bring in Schenn for? I think Stanley in a few moments didn't bring the physicality that you really needed. And maybe that's a lesson of, if you're going to make mistakes with the puck, if you're going to make errors, at least make Montreal players pay by punishing them at times. And maybe Schenn can bring a little bit more of that experience and physicality.
Yeah, I think that's your biggest takeaway from adding a Luke Schenn in, because when he first got slotted in the Sabres lineup, it was bad. And then he was away from the lineup. They put him in that Tampa Bay game, and it's like, oh, I see the vision on this. He's, actually, contributor to the Sabres team. And having that's going to be a big thing. When the Sabres, though, made that trade for Stanley and Schenn, it felt like they were just preparing for Tampa Bay in the postseason. Tampa Bay's not here anymore. I am shocked they didn't go with a Metza or Kesselring, because their game, I think, translates more into a quicker, rush style of hockey. They can join the play. They can move the puck well. Schenn and Stanley kind of bog it down a little bit. So I am shocked if they, got rid of Stanley. They went to Schenn in that front. Donnie, were you shocked that it wasn't a Kesselring or Metza being brought in for the switch?
Well, I was most shocked, first of all, honestly, that Timmins stayed in. I know there's a lot of Stanley haters, but I've been way lower on Timmins. I think the two of them together was just not a good move from the get-go. You're putting two of your big, slow guys together. Didn't love that. And then, with Schenn in and then keeping Timmins, I was just, I don't know, I'm kind of like, okay. It's like a 1-to-1. That's just a 1-to-1 trade in my opinion. I don't know how much better you're really getting with Schenn there over Stanley. I would have loved to see Metza. I know that's definitely a fan controversial take. A lot of the hockey talking heads are like saying, no way do you put a young kid in this position that hasn't played in the playoffs. I think it's bizarre we haven't played him once, considering how late into the season he was in our lineup, even if he was only getting about 12, 14 minutes a game. But I like his speed, and that's kind of what we need against this team right now. We've been hitting their lights out, and it still hasn't worked as much as game one. And I'd like to see more of that. It just seems like they have guys getting to open areas of the ice, especially in our defensive zone, on their offensive zone. So I would have loved to see Metza. Like Bunt said, I don't think we're going to see too much time out of these guys. But I guess what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, I would have liked to see a better improvement, and I didn't really see this as much of an improvement at all. It's not really a step forward, but a step sideways in my eyes. But we'll see if Shen. Sometimes when you bring a guy out that's been healthy, scratched enough, you hope that he's going to come out and play with an intensity and say, "Hey, I belong here. I want to be here." So that's the best we can hope for.
Yeah, I agree entirely with that, Donnie. Like having a guy to bring that energy is exactly what the Sabres need. They need that spark. That's why you bring in Hellenis, a young kid, hungry, wants to keep a spot, and also a veteran like Luke Shen. This could be his final opportunity to play in a playoff, game in the NHL. He's going to bring it as well. You look at Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, another opportunity for him to take the reins or at least make a name that, okay, I belong here. This is my net and run with it. And they also need a guy like Alex Stuck to play like a $10 million player tonight from Florida Man in the chat. And, since Alex Stuck hasn't been playing like a $10 million player, the Sabres are down in the series 2-1 Bunty. They win game one, an exciting game, ton of energy. The KeyBank Center was rocking. Then they lost the last two in, really ugly fashions where it did not look like the Buffalo Sabres team that we've saw for a majority of the season. The Sabres are down 2-1 right now. Feels like it's a lot worse, but where are you at in this series for hitting the panic button in it? And in those two games, what's been the biggest thing for you that's been like, this is not the Sabres team I remember?
So I haven't hit the panic button yet, but I'm very close to hitting the panic button. The blowouts suck. Obviously, you don't want to lose back-to-back games by the margins that they did. But if you respond with a Game 4 win, it doesn't really matter how much you lost by Game 2, Game 3. All that matters is you lost those games. Tie the series up, head back to Buffalo. It's a best-of-3 series, and you have home ice. So as brutal as it has been, the Sabres can erase all of that with a great performance tonight. But at the same point, there's a lot of things to be concerned. I said after game one, the one thing I liked about this series was it was strength on strength. If the Sabres want to play an open ice game, Montreal wants to play an open ice game. Most teams head to head against the Sabres, it's advantage Buffalo when they have that type of style. And you saw Buffalo get off to a nice start, 4-1 lead game one. It felt like, okay, this is the type of series, let's go. What's concerning to me is that the Sabres have lost all of their composure. And I'm not talking about just taking penalties. I'm talking about how they're handling the puck, the decisions they're making, their lack of getting in the right places at the right time. Mm-hmm. And it's disturbing to me because the Sabres' whole game is set up by getting the puck quickly from their defensemen to their forwards and then cycling in the zone and creating offense. And what has happened this entire series, it's Montreal attacking their defense, keeping the puck in the zone because the Sabres keep turning the puck over.
Yeah.
And then what happens, chance after chance after chance, your goalie's getting peppered. And then eventually you get outshot heavily, and they're going to get the prime scoring chances, and that's how you lose 5-1 and 6-2. And what's frustrating me is when you're playing Boston, you can get away with a lot. Mm-hmm. Outside of Pasternak, they have no transition. The only way they're scoring is if they get a guy behind you, goal hanging, and they get a breakaway or odd man rush. Montreal is just as skilled as the Sabres. So if you're going to play this lackadaisical, sloppy hockey where your defensemen are routinely turning over the puck, and then your top two forwards, and Thompson and Tuck, decide they just forget how to play hockey, well, you're not going to get the job done. And so how do you fix it? I don't even think it's as much Montreal outplaying the Sabres as it is the Sabres just constantly screwing themselves over. So at the end of the day, Montreal is dominating the series because they're making the Sabres pay. But how do the Sabres fix it? Just go back to doing what you do. Take care of the puck, make the proper passes, get in the right spots, and then you'll be more effective. Easier said than done. But a good example of what the Sabres are right now, they're like the quarterback that gets sacked 50 times a season, who is routinely getting blitzed and pressured. And then next thing you know, it's late in the third quarter. You're not getting sacked, but you anticipate the pressure, and you make a quick throw into the wrong spot, intercepted, and it's taken back to the house. Mm-hmm. That's what the Sabres are routinely doing time after time after time after time after time. And also, if you're going to take penalties against Montreal, you might as well just give the series to them because you're not stopping that power play, the way they move around the ice and the way they can finish.
They've been so great. And Bunty, you brought up a point of just the Sabres being their best from defense to offense like that. You look at the Stanley turnover, I think it was the third or fourth goal by Montreal in the previous outing, ended up in the Sabres net a few seconds later. That could be a big reason why he's out as well. Donnie, where are you at in terms of, seeing a panic button and even hitting one right now through just 3 games in this 7-game series?
I'm not hitting the panic button yet, but I will tell you my biggest worry right now. And tonight is the moment that will solidify whether this worry is valid or whether it isn't. And the worry isn't if we're talented enough or if we're well coached enough or if we're smart enough. It's the fatigue of the playoffs, and not physical fatigue. It's the mental fatigue of the playoffs. What I saw in game 3 from Darlene going back cross ice pass on a guy whose stick he was clearly skate with ends up in the back of our net. And then I see last game Thompson Tuck back checking with they're not doing a skating back check. It's kind of the drifting back check. That for me says that this team might be getting mentally fatigued. And what that happens is you're just mentally fatigued. You're taking shifts off. You're taking moments off. The intensity that maybe you had in the first series from games 1 to 6 is now wearing thin. And that's where, even though you might be more faster than the old guys, that veteran playoff experience comes in. Is like, are you taking shifts off every play? Are you back checking every play? Back checking is effort. It's not a skill thing. It just getting back there is it's hard and effort. And that's what this team has me worried about most through games 3 and 4. Game 2 or for game 4 tonight.
Yep.
Game 2 and 3 I meant, but tonight is going to prove all of that. And I think too is maybe that's what this lineup shifting is hey, how do you kind of game people's minds, get the intensity back on? That's really been the biggest thing for me is the intensity of the D zone, like Bunt says, and biggest of all, back checking. I've seen. I mean, we could count the number of goals where it was really came out to be an effort thing. It's an effort thing from our captain, Darlene, in game 2, and Tuck and Thompson in game 3. So I'm going to be watching for that. And tonight will really say a lot about this team. Are they built to make a run in this, or are they built to get their experience and later see you next year with more experience?
Yeah, I agree 100%, Donnie. And, I am scared. I can see a panic button, but just like Mike Bunt from this great comment from AJ Cybulski, I'm smiling right now because this is the perfect opportunity for the Sabres team to continue the story they've been telling all season long of having their backs up against the wall and ending any doubt that there was. They're down 2-1 in the series right now. First time in this playoff, run they've been on that they've been down in the series. But throughout the course of this season, they've done nothing but, prove people wrong when all the doubt was there. It was the beginning of the season. They were last in the East. They fire Kevin Adams. They go on a 10-game win streak, get back in the picture. They lose a game. Are they going to fall back to their old ways? They're going to go on a big losing streak. They stop that. You look right before the All-Star break or the Olympic break. They drop 3 of 4. Are the Sabres team dead? Are they not going to be able to figure things out in the post-Olympic run? They found their game. They went on to win the Atlantic Division. You look right before, too, the season ended. In mid-March, the Sabres were on a bit of a losing skid. Is this going to be the same team? Are they going to be able to, get an Atlantic spot? Are they going to be a wild card team having to go to Carolina? They found their game. They won the Atlantic. Right now, you're seeing a Sabres team continue this. Even in the postseason, look at game 2 against Boston. It was like the world was ending after that game. The Sabres, though, found their game after that. They found what gave them success. They worked hard. These past 2 games, disappointing, 100%. Disappointing that they couldn't figure it out after game 2. But if there's anything this team showed me this year, Bunty, it's that in this opportunity, in this moment, they're going to figure it out in some capacity. And if they don't, shame on me because they've been doing it all year long. I have faith that this Buffalo Sabres team is not going to roll over, get gentlemen swept by the Montreal Canadiens. They're going to put up a fight, something we haven't seen in the other 2 games. Want to go through some comments here as well from Eric. Well put, lack of intensity, minus Spence has been clear. Benson by far and away has been their best player. A lot of these guys seem like they're playing a game at 18 of the regular season, 100%. Shen over Metza is a choice. This is one of the youngest teams in hockey. What is the fatigue from? I get their inexperience, but Montreal is in the same boat as us. They made it to the playoffs with this group and lost at 5. And, Montreal went 7 games against Tampa Bay, and basically all of them went to overtime as well. We will see what this looks like in this mental fatigue. Maybe not a physical one. So my 36-year-old Shen is playing over Metza to keep these kids going, and then the McAvoy 6-game suspension for slashing Benson.
Since we're checking in with the
Yeah.
comments, let me give a shout out real quick. We just got a message from our producers, folks. If you comment back in the live chat, you'll be entered, where if Beck Malenstein scores, you'll win a signed Malenstein pick, courtesy of our friends at TSE. So comment back, and one of you lucky fans in the comments will win a signed picture of Malenstein if he scores tonight.
I love that. So get your back comments in, just like Florida Man here, to be entered. One last thing on this Game 3 and the Sabres down 2-1. I think one of the biggest talking points right now is the Sabres top line. Peyton Krebs, Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck. We saw lineup change this morning. They kept that top line together. Are you worried about this top line, Bunty? And also, what is it going to take for them to find their game again, you think?
I'm absolutely worried about the top line. They've been the worst players on the ice for the Sabres so far in this series. Here's the thing. You can't just replace the top line. Thompson's your top scorer. Tuck is maybe your most balanced two-way player. And then Krebs has been the ultimate utility man all season. So you can't really mix it up too much. But, I'm worried because it seems like something is going on with Tage Thompson, and you need him to be the best version of himself for the Sabres to have a chance at winning the series. The charts have not been pretty to him at all through the first 3 games. And the one player they've been kind of even worse for have been Alex Tuck. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the focus has been on Tage Thompson and his turnovers, but Alex Tuck has not looked good in those at all. Here's the thing, though. There is a lot of talent. And they're going to go out, they're going to give it their best, and hopefully they can figure it out. That's all you can really hope for right now as a Sabres fan, is that Tage, Tuck, and Krebs figure a way to get it going. And if they can, the Sabres will still have a chance in this series.
Definitely. I mean, that's kind of the difference maker right now for Buffalo is, if they get their top line going, that they're going to be in these games a lot more, where they're not going to have to be, coming back from a deficit. In terms of the Sabres power play as well, I don't get too deep into the man advantage because, they're finally starting to convert with this new unit. In terms of gaining the zone on the power play, they've been limiting the drops they've been doing in the neutral zone. I think continue to stop doing that. It has not been working. Donnie, this Sabres top line, Lindy Ruff, made changes throughout the whole lineup, but kept this group together. One, what does that signal for you? And what's your concern level for them if, they can't figure out to find the back of the net consistently again?
I mean, it says that he has faith in this team to produce well. I mean, they haven't played their best. I will say, other than last game, I mean, I felt like they were at least kind of creating the stalemate with Montreal's top line at the very least. And that's playoff hockey. Like, sometimes your top line isn't going to score because they're also playing against it must be real. The Canadiens' top line is one of the best in the National Hockey League for sure. They don't have as much depth as I believe the Sabres did going in. After seeing the last couple games, that they might be changing my mind a little bit, but I think it's that he still has faith that these guys can play with them, do well, and I think look for their opportunities where they do get a mismatch. I think if you break them up, you're just kind of – we don't need to, like, completely spread our talent all over like it's just a plateau, right? Mm-hmm. I still want us to have, like, some peaks of focused talent, and they haven't performed up till now in this series like I'd like them to, but it's just like the power play. I think if they can get one in a good goal, like, Tage got one off the boards, but if they can get a goal where, like, a nice, like, 2-pass goal – a give and go goal, something that shows line chemistry, that they're all vibing, something that you go to the bench and, you grab them by the shoulder and it's like, that's fucking right. That's how we do it. Like, that is what this line needs. And I think Lindy believes they can get that tonight. And if they get one, I'd be worried if I'm Montreal.
Agreed. And you saw how they scored last game as well, both that top line with Tage Thompson and the Rasmus Dahlin goal as well. It came from getting traffic and just having a body in front of Jakob Dobash of Montreal. They need to be able to take his eyes away. That's how they had success against Boston, Jeremy Swayman. They simplified their offense because those scoring, like, high-skill rush plays, they're not going to be there all the time, especially in the postseason. We've seen that. I need to see the Sabres just hunker down, play a little bit more simple offensively, because when they're playing their worst too, they're often overcomplicating their offense, way too many passes. So I'm interested to see on that front and from this top line what they took away from that last game when they finally scored and got on the score sheet. It was simple. Just a puck on net. Karam's off the boards weird and just hits Tage Thompson's stick because he's in the right spot and it goes in the net. I want to see them build on that. Some greasy, grimy goals. Obviously, if they can get a great, like a fancy one, sign me up. I'm never going to complain about a Sabres goal. But I need to see that from this Sabres top line and, all throughout the lineup too, especially when you think about the Consta Hellenis line now with Jack Quinn, Jason Zucker. They need them to produce as well. Jason Zucker has 1 assist in 9 games. That's all he has. They're going to need him to be better on that front. A couple comments here. If Quinn scores even 1 goal this series, it won't leave him off season. Yeah, he's been a guy that felt like he was so due-bunty this whole postseason, sorry. And then he kind of fell back into the Jack Quinn of you got to look for him sometimes.
Yeah, that's been the frustrating thing. A lot of the guys that the Sabres depend on or have depended on all season really haven't stepped up in these moments. And you don't want to be too hard on everybody because there are guys that have had good moments. Alex Stuck was really good in the first round. And Zach Benson and Josh Doan have been incredible. And Bo Byram has had nice stretches of play. But the Sabres need their top guys to start playing like their top guys. And they're just not getting enough production. It would be nice if Josh Norris could get a few points.
Perfect timing. Look at that.
Zucker, again, he hasn't even seen the ice recently, it seems like. And losing Noah Ostlund obviously hurt quite a bit when it comes to the depth of this team. It's tough because for a lot of guys on this team, this is their introduction to playoff hockey. And as much as we want to pretend like the regular season and the playoffs are similar, they're really not. No. Winning a division title is nice. You put a banner up at the end of the year. But for experienced hockey teams that have been to the playoffs for several times, it really doesn't matter if you're finishing first in your division, second or third. As long as you're getting yourself there, it matters what you do in the playoffs. Sports like the NBA and the NHL, it's matchup oriented. So while at the end of the year you look at it, the Sabres had 109 points and Montreal had 106. Montreal looks like the team that is responding to adversity better right now. They look like the team that is ready for what the challenge is. And credit to them, last year they made the playoffs and they had a little bit of a taste of this before. And I like the point that Donnie brought up earlier about the mental fatigue. It seems like that might be a little bit of what the Sabres are going through right now. And that doesn't mean that they can't get over it. It just means that they have to find a way to fight through it and figure out a response. And that's what Lindy's doing with this lineup tonight. He's desperately trying to find a way to activate them and wake them up. And it'll go one of two ways. We'll either see that boost from them, or it might be pretty ugly once again, and we're just got to hope that it's on the good side of the two.
100%. And, the Sabres are down 2-1 in the series, but that's why it's a best of 7. So I want us to look ahead in the rest of the series. So let's get into William Mattar Law Office's forecast. Donnie, I want to start with you first. We're going to forecast, the rest of the series. Basically just a prediction on what you think the series is going to go. So, Donnie, I want to start with you. What's your prediction for the rest of this Sabres and Canadian series?
I think this goes 7. I mean, I'd love to say 6, but I think it goes 7. And reason for that is, listen, it's 2-1. The last 2 games were ugly, but we win tonight, everything changes. And if we win tonight in a way we feel good, everything changes. I mean, think about it. We're headed home, tied 2-2. We're headed back to our home arena with a chance to go up and only need and one more. And I think you brought it up earlier. You tweeted this. Someone did. You win tonight. It's a best of 3 series, and you got 2 games at home. So I mean everything changes tonight. I think, yeah, they win tonight. Go back home, win. You put a lot of the pressure now. Montreal squeezing their sticks, going back into the Bell Center where they have great fans, but those fans will turn on that room in a second if things start going bad in a elimination game. I've seen it before when I've watched them last year and in other circumstances. So, but I think we were thinking this game the series would go till 7 beforehand. These are two very well matched, very similar teams. I think we can still take it in 7. And honestly, from watching enough playoffs, I think we can even take 7 if we lose tonight.
Whoa.
I just watched the 76ers beat the mighty Celtics in 7 after going down 3-1. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. Now, do I want that? No. Will I be very worried if that happens and we go down 3-1? Yes. But I'm just saying, that's why I'm saying Sabres in 7 is tonight is not an absolute must-win, but it can't lose. It can't lose games. So
Can't lose the game. And like Forman said, Buffalo athlete, they can't be banging the drum. You also need Sabretooth repelling. The Sabres are 2-0 when Sabretooth comes down from the rafters, 0-3 when it's not at home. So
I did bring the lucky nuts, though.
Have the lucky nuts. Before
Could I get the lucky nuts?
Yeah, let's get those lucky nuts.
Let's get them on. If you don't know, folks, every home game I go to, I bring a lucky bag of peanuts and break them out in the third period. And so we're bringing them to an away game.
We're doing our part right now. Before I kick it to you, Bunty, comment your predictions, your forecast on this series, who wins and how many games. So, Bunty, what are you thinking?
Do you want me to answer?
I want you to be honest.
Give it to us, Mr. Positive.
Feet to fire.
People call me a homer, remember? So I don't know if that'll continue after what I have to say now.
Keep them on their toes.
So going into the series, I picked the Sabres in 7. Realistically, I thought it was a coin flip that could go either way. I was tempted to pick Montreal, but I didn't want to annoy all of our Sabres fans, followers. The last 2 games have definitely challenged my views on how this series will go. Down 2-1, is it over? No, it's far from over. The Sabres, like you guys said, could win Game 4, and then it's a best of 3 with home ice. What I am nervous about is that Montreal has just been buzzing around the Sabres. The Sabres have been making mistake after mistake after mistake. I don't think that's something that's going to be easily corrected with lineup changes. If anything, I think lineup changes might lead to even more sloppiness when you have a couple lines with new chemistry involved and you add another guy in Shen that might be an even bigger downgrade than what Logan Stanley was. Right now, I think Montreal wins Game 4, and this ends up being a 6-game series that the Canadiens take. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. That doesn't mean I'm not rooting for the Sabres and hoping that they can make a run, but it just feels like Montreal is the better team and that it's not just luck at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if things stay how they have in the past, too, it's going to be Canadiens in 5 with all things. But I think the Sabres team is going to bounce back. I agree with Jake. It's always been Sabres in 7. When we had our, pre-series show, Bunty, I said Sabres in 7. And as down as I keep being mentally about this team, I keep telling myself to win in 7 games, you have to lose 3. They're down 2-1 right now. You get a win tonight. All the bad thoughts, all the bad things are completely out the window because we all would have taken a 2-2 series after 4 games before, Game 1. I think everyone would have taken that because, it's going to be a dogfight. No one picked Sabres in 4 that, actually meant it.
Yeah.
Even the Habs in 4 people. It's interesting. But I think a lot of the Sabres stuff, too, that we're picking Sabres, you need the team to respond tonight and bounce back tonight in the way that we haven't seen since they did it in Boston. So, I mean, the people are wavering and agreeing with you, Bunty, on it all. So that's been William Attar Law Office's forecast. Now, we saw and predicted what this series is going to be, but we can't look too far ahead. Tonight is only on Montreal. Tonight is only about Game 4 and the Sabres getting a win. For Buffalo to get this win, Bunty, I'll start with you. Who's the one guy, I just want to take one, that needs to step up the most for the Buffalo Sabres to get a win?
The one guy would need to be Alex Tuch.
Great answer.
He has been dreadful the last 2 games, but like I said earlier, he's the most balanced two-way player on the Sabres. He's been bad in his own zone.
No points this series.
That's unacceptable. I do think point totals, you're going to have games with points, you're going to have games without points. But defensively, he needs to play like the player we know he is, and I need a little bit of offense. If Alex Tuch is quiet, that means the first line is going to be quiet, which means I don't know you're getting enough offense to really win.
Definitely. Donnie, who is the one Sabre you need to step up the absolute most tonight for the Sabres to win?
Well, this may be a weird answer because it's not like he hasn't been stepping up or underperforming, but I'm going to go to the captain, Rasmus Dahlin. Yes, he had a goal last game, but if you look at the playoffs, this is when the greatest defensemen in the NHL come and shine. This is when they log 30, 32-minute games in 60 minutes, and they play half the game. This is when guys like that are the quarterback of the team on even strength, on penalty kills, and on power plays. Now, he doesn't kill a ton, but on power plays, we need him to step up. We need him to control the game. I've been watching this Wild series, and honestly, the only reason they haven't gotten swept is because of Quinn Hughes. He can take over that game. I've watched it. We need him to have the vision, the eyes, and the defense, inspiring the team on the bench, telling guys, hey, we're going to drink so many beers after this. It's Benny's 21st birthday. We're going to get after this if we can get a W. I need Dahlin to be locked in. I need him to be, like I said, he's the quarterback of this team more and more when I come back to it. He can really make up for a lot and slow this game down when needed. 26, I need him.
I love both those answers so much from you guys. It's weird because the Sabres have played so poorly. I could basically name everyone that's not like Zach Benson or Josh Stone right now. I saw comments from here, K. Huffy or from Florida Man, Dahlin or Luukkonen. Obviously, those two guys are going to need to be huge for Buffalo. And then, Eric from Kosovo, good to see you in chat here. Love seeing you in the Trainer Today stuff. Let's go Buffalo. Good to see everyone in the chat. My one player needs to step up because, again, I feel like it could be everyone right now. I'm looking at Jack Quinn. He's playing with Constant Hellenis tonight. Yep. He's been a guy that's had the chances that, I said before the playoffs, like that was the guy I was looking at if the Sabres are going on a deep run, they need to rely on 22 to be a goal scorer because his goals come in waves. For the Sabres team to go on a run, they need secondary scoring. And I thought it'd be outside of Tate Thompson, but they need secondary scoring outside of Zach Benson and Josh Stone right now. If they can get Jack Quinn going, if Constant Hellenis can be the skilled player he is, set up Quinn, and Quinn can hit the net for once in the series, this is going to be a big thing for Buffalo. I think Quinn is going to get one tonight where you have a great passing play from Hellenis. He can hit the net, and hopefully the Sabres team can keep moving from that point on. That's who I think want to step up. But we talked about Zach Benson too, so we're going to see how this segment sticks. There's no overlay for this, Donnie, but we're going to try how this goes. Donnie, I want to start with you. Would you rather fight one rat-sized Zach Benson or one Zach Benson-sized rat?
I think I would fight the Zach Benson-sized rat. Now, that's a very large rat, but he's still smaller than me. Both are smaller than me. He's still smaller than me. And believe it or not, folks, I do think that Zach Benson has more brain cells than an actual rat. I think I could outsmart him. I think I could, tire him out, get him right in the nose. I don't want to fight a Zach Benson or a rat-sized Zach Benson. Zach Benson with those fangs is a disaster. I've seen some brutal rats in the city of Buffalo chew right through a thick plastic garbage can, one of mine, like giant
Same
hole.
Here.
Yeah, I think he could chew through the side of my house if it was Zach Benson. I'm gonna fight the Zach Benson-sized rat any day.
I'm choosing Zach Benson. I don't want to put my hands on a rat. That's disgusting, unsanitary. That's how you get a disease right there. So, no, I'm fighting Zach Benson. I'm 6'2". No offense to Zach Benson. I always listed at like 5'10". He's probably shorter than that. I just put my hands down and keep him away from me.
Yeah, I don't think I stand a chance against a rat bigger than like this much. So if you're having like a 5 foot, Zach Benson's 5'11". I like him. Maybe 6 foot.
That's what they say. Is that on skates or is
I'll
that
give him
reality?
6'1". I like him that much, but I am taking the rat-sized Zach Benson. He might go after some sort of important artery because he's a bit of a scumbag, but I feel like I fare a little bit better in that situation. That was fun. Good investigative journalism, everyone.
Yeah.
But now let's move on to who's hot or who's not, presented by Salino Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Don, I'll start with you right now. Who's hot and who's not for you for this Buffalo Sabres?
Well, I'm going to say who's the hot right now are the Montreal boards behind the net.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw 2 goals go in right off them. Is this something we look into tonight? because goal number 1 right off the boards to Tage, bang, kind of the nail in our coffin. Goal 5 right off the boards, spits right back to the line. I mean, these are 2 goals where the puck bounces well almost into the slot, like from off those back boards. Do we aim for these? Speaking of Quinn Hughes, we saw that he had that goal where he aimed for a defenseman's leg that was like 2 feet wide, and somehow banks it in. Do we go for that in the back of the net? I think we might have to give it a shot, because I'm kind of shocked at how lively those boards are. And that's one of the things, again, about playing in your home barn. You know how the boards work. You know how the puck bounces around certain corners. So hopefully the boys learned something from that today, and we can use that to our advantage. Because I was shocked at both of those. Having 2 goals come off the boards like that is pretty strange.
Who's up for you, Bunty?
I mean, USAD, it's pretty obvious. You could give your choice of Zach Benson or Josh Doan. I'll go Zach Benson. He is a rat, so great player. He's been playing probably the best hockey of his NHL career during the playoffs recently, generating a lot of chances, creating a lot of havoc, and he's the one reason why the Sabres probably still have a chance in this series based on how he's produced early on so far. So Zach Benson, easy choice for me.
Yeah, by far and away the Sabres' best player since Game 6 in Boston. Mine, I'm going to go with the youth. I think this is, not a brat summer. It's a youth spring for Buffalo right now, where you're led by Zach Benson, a guy whose 21st birthday is today. Consta Hellenis, who got the call-up, who's hoping to spark the Sabres team to return to form. Just turned 20 just the other day. Josh Stone is a young kid. We're looking at, the Sabres' most important players being young guys. You think of a playoff run, you think of veteran experiences. That has been the farthest thing for the case from Buffalo. They need their youth to continue to double down on being excellent. So that's my hot right now. Don, I'll kick it to you for your who's not.
Yeah, my who's not. And this can go either direction. But skating off after breaking your stick, especially on a penalty kill. I don't know why this became a huge debate after last game.
Crazy.
I'm gonna chalk it up to just fan and even some people that are like, I'm not a fan, I cover the team. You're kind of still a fan the way I'm seeing you tweet. So so we're gonna say that's some fan frustration. Listen, it's a fun thought exercise. Why don't in the second period, when they are from the far bench and they're in their defensive zone and they break a stick and it's 5-on-4, do they skate the length of the ice to go get a stick and come out and give it 5-on-3? A lot of people are saying, hey, you're pretty much at a 5-on-3 without the stick. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You have a huge body that can get in passing lanes. I don't know what level of hockey you like. It's kind of mind-blowing that it's insinuated. But, hey, if you think they should be doing that, and maybe in the first and third, not in the third, you're losing a body down there. And listen, I watched Montreal have their share of broken sticks, still block shots. I saw their goalie have his stick end up in the corner. He still made a save. So let's, my nod is doing that. I don't think we should be doing that. And I think we can all chill on that idea for now.
I agree there. Bunty, who's not hot for you right now?
And I just want to add one more thing. I'm with you on that, and that's what they're trained. There's the one player on the ice who's taught, okay, if broken stick, you're the one that gives up your stick to be that guy.
Exactly.
And that's why Greenway always happens to be that person.
Especially in the second period with a long change.
I've seen so many people be like, well, why does Greenway always not have a broken stick? Well, it's not always his broken stick.
Because you'd rather have a defenseman with it.
And
give it to Timmins.
And, here's the thing, too. There's situations where maybe it would make sense to get a guy off and make a change. But you're hoping that in the first 10, 15 seconds, you get a loose puck and you clear it, and then you got an area where you make the change with no risk. When he's on for a minute and a half, it becomes pretty bad. But not many teams have a power play like Montreal where they're going to make you stay on the ice for a minute and a half straight in your own defensive zone. For who's not hot, I mean, I could go the entire Sabres team outside of Benson and Doan. Realistically, you know what? I'm going to go Tage Thompson right now. I know he scored last game, but realistically, the Sabres want to have a shot at winning this series. They need Tage Thompson to deliver. He has hurt them quite a bit. I know he might be injured potentially right now, but Tage has to be better. And if I was going to say a more generic thing, I'd say the entire defensive group for the Sabres right now. They are letting down this team. They're playing their own defensive zone.
Yeah, no doubt about that. My not right now, a little bit of left field, is the sickos and perverts of Montreal, because every single post that went out from the Crossing Swords in the Sabres hemisphere last game, after the game ended, Montreal went 2-1, full of Montreal Canadiens fans, taking victory laps on the Sabres team, just going up 2-1 in a series, which seems
Well,
like
you can't really blame them, Gatesy. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1993. So to them, winning Game 3 in the second round is a reason for a massive celebration. Really no different than the Sabres winning a first-round series.
It's big. I give them props, great fan base. My post-game video, I saw the views, I'm like, oh my God, this is like the best one ever. I go to the comments, it's all these sickos, crying on my downfall. I'm like, this is crazy, but, there's a lot right now that's not for Buffalo, for hot or not, but hopefully after tonight we can see that change. But that's been Who's Hot and Who's Not, presented by Salino Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Now, as we kind of get into the final thoughts of this show, we are, 20 minutes till, the TV time starting, probably a half hour till puck drop. Lineup for Buffalo looks like it's remaining what we saw in the pregame skate. Granted, we do have Josh Dunn and Zach Metza, skating in warmups. So we'll see how that progresses. If anything happens, it's going to be the same thing. But before we wrap things up with some overarching thoughts, I want a score prediction from tonight, or just a general. What are you going to see from this Buffalo Sabres team? Are you going to see a bounce back, Bunty? Or are you going to see a Sabres team, still struggle to find their game?
I'm hoping for a bounce back. I don't know if we will see a bounce back. It's interesting. This could go either way. I think the fact that they put Shen in the lineup and that McLeod dropped to the fourth line and you have Hellenis in there, I think this is going to be a lower scoring game tonight.
Yeah.
I think the Sabres are going to try to slow down Montreal, not by playing their normal style, but by trying to slow the pace overall. I'm going to go Canadiens 3-2, but I'm hoping the Sabres surprise me.
Donnie, what are your score predictions and just overall, Buffalo Sabres predictions tonight?
Yeah, I think we come out and what I want to see is a lot more intensity. I want to see this team, no matter who they are, playing like the shift where Benson got 2 takeaways, went to the side of the net, called for the puck and scored in what was that, game 2. I want to see that level of intensity. It is you're either going home down 3-1 or tying up the series. So this is a lay it all out there. I don't want to see what I've seen before, guys put their stick out and then just curling away, given the opportunity. I want just intensity, hard forward checking, but not putting yourself out of position. I'm predicting 3-0 Sabres UPL shutout.
I would really love that, Donnie. I'll be the first one to say that. I'm in that same front from the Sabres because every part of me wants to mentally withdraw from this Buffalo Sabres team and, tell myself internally I was right. They were going to give up eventually, and that what we saw, wasn't forever. But they have shown time and time again that when their back's against the wall, they respond. Now, with that being said, if they lose tonight, I'm going to say the same thing about Game 5 in Buffalo because their backs are even, more against the wall in that game. So, 2 sides of a coin on that front. But I do think the Sabres get that win tonight with the additions in. We saw briefly in moments in that Game 3 of Buffalo finding their game in some capacity. I compared that Game 3 to the Game 2 in Boston where we saw, that third period for Buffalo, they looked a lot better in Game 3 in Montreal, where we saw the same thing Game 2 in Boston where, the Sabres are finally starting to play hockey again, and then they found it from that point on in the series. I'm hoping they can take that moving forward, find ways to score on Jakub Dobek, just get that traffic, slow things down. You have Luke Shannon. That's going to be a slower game for Buffalo, and you just need to see the spark in the lineup from Consta Hellenis playing alongside Jack Quinn. If that line can get going, that is going to be the biggest thing for Buffalo. So my prediction score-wise tonight, you said 3-2 Montreal. I'm going to go 3-2 Buffalo, and I think Jack Quinn's going to have one of them. And I have a prediction for everyone at home. If you're a golfer, I am predicting and I am guaranteeing that you're going to sign up for the Sports City Golf Classic Friday, June 19th. Sports City, phenomenal place. This isn't on the card. This comes right from the heart. They've been, supporting us for years. This is a phenomenal place. Every day is game day, but truly, you look behind us right now. Seeing what the Buffalo Sabres mean to the city is great. Having them, be here at Sports City, great food, great drinks, great people, great environment. Highly recommend to get down here for a Sabres game day or any game day at all. Truly a great time. And if you're not a golfer and you don't want to do the Sports City Golf Classic on June 19th, which you can sign up on their website, Sports City is having their 10 years on Niagara Street anniversary party Saturday, July 18th. So put it in your calendars, folks. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of comments before we do our final thoughts. ESPN broadcast is a joke. I've been syncing up the broadcast with the Dan and Razor. It's been life-changing on that front. From Mr. Mark, Sabres need to understand where playoff offense comes from. Going back to the way we played in the regular season is a problem. This is not regular season hockey. Agreed. Or what the Habs doing in follow. We saw it in Boston. Sabres creating traffic, simplifying their offense, gave them that success. Chicken Bone, I'm excited, boys, checking out, looking forward for a bounce-back game. They got too much skill, 2-1. Buffalo, love that. And, yeah, we will see how this goes. So, Bunty, final thoughts from you. We are 15 minutes till the top of the hour. What are your final thoughts on where the Sabres are right now in tonight's game and, just kind of putting a bow on how we're feeling right now with the Sabres team?
It's pretty simple. They win tonight, their season is still alive. They lose tonight, you can wrap it up. And I hate to be that must-win guy at any point during the playoffs, but there is no way on earth. I know Donnie thinks otherwise, and Donnie could be right. I've been wrong.
It's fair. We
Donnie's
all got our
always right.
opinions.
I have been wrong on a lot of things lately. But in my opinion, there's no way on earth the Sabres are going to find a way to win 3 straight against Montreal. I think you got to win tonight, find a way to win Game 5, and then see what happens after.
Yeah, Donnie, final thoughts for you?
I've seen this team be one of the best in the league and be able to go toe-to-toe with anybody. Out of all the teams left in the playoffs, I believe they've beaten every single one other than Colorado, who they played twice before November. But they beat the Wild, they beat the Ducks, they who else am I missing from the West?
Vegas.
They beat Vegas, and then everyone in the East they've beat before. So they can play with anyone. We've seen that. I know it's not the regular season, yada, 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 but we've seen the Sabres team isn't the same in January that they were in November. I'm counting on this team to continue to play their best hockey when it matters most, which they did coming down the stretch to win the division. I believe they can turn it on despite having 2 bad games in a row, and I believe this team can win. But all that matters is, again, the intensity, the heart, the playing for each other, all the things that matter besides just being a professional, skilled hockey player. It really is about what the team can do together. So I believe in these guys, and all that matters is if they believe in themselves and can come out playing the best hockey they know they're capable of.
I 100% agree, Donnie.
You want to share that stat, Gatesy?
Yeah, I am going to parlay that in that. Yeah, we're at Sports City. There's 70,000 TVs here. We have the ESPN coverage on right now. Sabres game about to drop in just a little bit. They had a stat. Sabres all time in the playoffs when trailing 2-1 in the series.
Yep.
0-14. Spin zone. Buffalo Sabres. We're
1-14 now this year.
Going to be 1-14. And up until last series, they had never won a playoff series when losing 2 home games. They won a playoff series last round when losing 2 home games. Statistics are meant to be broken. That's going to continue the story the Sabres team is on of changing the narrative, back against the wall, doing what they have to do. 0-14, down 2 in a series. I feel like at some point they would have won one of those. There's no time like the present for this Buffalo Sabres team. A huge thank you to everyone watching this stream, the near 2,000 people who tuned in tonight. You're watching on YouTube. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. This has been a great ride this whole Sabres season. We never thought we would still be doing shows at this point right now, from the start of the year, from the middle of the year, from even maybe before the Boston series. Who knows? It's been a great run. So I want to thank everyone who's been along, whether it's been the full ride, whether it's just today you're finding us for the first time. Big thank you. Big thank you to Mike_Bunt on my right, your left. Dreamboat Don on the 1s and 2s. Jameson and Rachel on the saddle. And as I wrap things up here, again, thank you to everyone here watching. Tonight is going to be a night that I think defines this Buffalo Sabres season, like Mike Bunt said. This could be, we're tied 2-2 coming back to Buffalo. Everyone had taken a 2-2 series before game 1. if the Buffalo Sabres can get back to their game, anything is possible from this point on. You win tonight. You have 2 of 3 at home at the KeyBank Center. The Sabres team is shown time and time again. You're probably sick of me talking about it right now. Have come back with their back against the wall. Right now, they have the opportunity to do it again on the biggest stage with everyone's written them off. Probably the most we've seen all year. National media. The Sabres team sucks. They don't. You had Keith Oberman, whoever that one guy is, saying they're an embarrassment to the league. The Buffalo Sabres are going to continue to be the best story in the NHL. Tonight, I have faith they're going to have this bounce back because they've shown time and time again. So we will see how it goes. We're going to see what the Sabres team brings. Have faith. We win tonight from Chris Rodier. Go Sabres. And gentlemen, thank you again. Thank you to everyone watching at home. Thank you to Sports City Pizza Pub for hosting us where every day is game day. Be sure to sign up for the Sports City Golf Classic Friday, June 19th. And remember, put it on your calendar if you're not a golfer. July 18th, 10 years on Niagara anniversary party at Sports City. Get here. Game day. You still have time to get here for tonight's game. Game 5 is going to be packed as well. We will see you all after this game, maybe for a post-game show. Again, enjoy tonight, Buffalo. Enjoy this ride. Let's go Sabres.